Whatever. Now, this hotel thing leads to one of the truly interesting Amsterdam stories. Starting in 1921, and really climaxing just about the time that this was written, there was a move underway to build not exactly a luxury hotel, but a nice hotel in Amsterdam. I mean, the old hotels were like, there was like the Central Hotel that was down next to the railroad station. It was probably $2 a night or something like that. The Barnes Hotel, and I don't know, I don't think the Peter Schuyler had been built by this time, had it?
Not sure.
I'm not sure either. That was on Market Street.
Right. Across the pool room.
Yeah. Across from Joe's Tavern.
Wasn't there was the Amsterdam Hotel, I thought.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot. Baji's Fourth Ward Hotel and Pizza.
Baji's, yeah, right.
Yeah. But I see what they're saying here. Now, here's what happened. They started a campaign back in 1921 to have the city, not exactly the city, but basically the Chamber of Commerce was pushing this hotel idea. 25 years go by before it finally starts developing some concrete. And they got designs for a hotel to be built by an outfit from Pennsylvania. They secured the land for it, which became what was later the Grand Union, and then the OTB, and then the Dollar General.
Now we're talking down
on Guy Park Avenue,
okay.
Between Guy Park and Division, next to the Century Club. The pictures are beautiful. It would be a nice, classy hotel in what was then a fairly nice residential district. Don't forget, the projects had not yet been built on Division Street. There were nice houses up and down Division Street. There were good offices. It was really the not the upper class, but the higher class extension of downtown was going in that direction. Okay, nice walk from downtown. So they did not consider that an inconvenient spot. And of course later the A&P went up in that area too and such. Okay. So they put out a subscription drive that rivaled the war bond drives and things like that to get people to buy shares in the corporation for the hotel. And at the same time that this survey was being done, they had already raised like 300-something thousand out of the 450 that they needed to build a hotel.
They raised it from here.
Yeah. Now, big chunk.
That's a huge chunk.
It is very impressive. But like every member, they had whole teams going out, and they all had cards surveying the neighborhoods, and like everybody who owned a store in downtown had a share of this hotel.
Let's get back to something. This is going to be a hotel run by the city.
Well, no, but corporation. It would be run by the corporation, which would be locally owned, essentially.
All right, that's my point.
So Mohawk Carpets had big investment in it. Big Old Sanford had a big investment in it. Some of the other companies, but then some of the smaller merchants as well. They raised a lot of money. Never happened.
What happened to the money?
Don't know. My recollection is that a lot of people lost their investments in that because there was a certain amount of money going on. The thing is, this impresses me as being like having the master plan and saying we need something. Well, how do you get it? We need a supermarket downtown. How are you going to get it? Fact of the matter is, if people don't want to invest. If people can't figure out a way to make money on their investment, it ain't going to happen. And apparently, ultimately, they couldn't figure out a way for this to make money. But you read about the arguments that were being made at the time. It was fascinating. Well, yes, Amsterdam has built many hotels. We've built them in Schenectady, Saratoga, because people won't stay here. They'll go somewhere else. But the absence of a hotel, thinking that you can repeal the law of supply and demand, if J. Raymond Marriott thought there was a way to make money building a hotel in Amsterdam, he would have done it. So what ultimately happens? This whole thing revives again half a generation or a generation later and becomes the Holiday Inn. And we essentially used urban renewal money to give the land to the Holiday Inn, and over the years the Holiday Inn was billed as the savior of downtown Amsterdam.
It was a nice place.
It was a nice place, but it worked financially because they didn't pay anything for it, basically, and then walked off with the money.
All right, see you later.
Right? And what,
Who paid for it? Your tax dollars have
how much did Ada lose on that deal? $400,000? Wasn't it like that?
Don't remember the exact amount, but I know, I don't want to say it on the air, I know the people involved, etc.
Yeah.
But your tax dollars ultimately were funding the
Right.
programs.
Right. That's
Your tax dollars basically, ultimately, no matter where they come from, fund a lot of these are renewal projects.
Yes, they do.
And let's face it, they knocked down, what did they do? They redid the entire structure of the city for the mall and for the arterials, which are absurd. And think about how much they knocked down. And then you hear the question, well, they would have knocked down anyway because they were deteriorated. Maybe a few.
Yeah.
But you changed the structure of Amsterdam.
and more importantly, the traffic pattern, which destroyed the viability of our downtown merchants. It became impossible. So.
Yeah, and once you get set not to go somewhere, as the people were telling me, they got set not to go to the mall, it's going to be very difficult to get anybody to come back. I mean, you're really going to have a campaign. And it didn't happen. Now it's an office building, basically.
All right, let's go through some of these other complaints. We got a few minutes. These are the losers. I don't like the taste of the city water. It has too much chlorine in it. They admit the water looks bad, it tastes bad, but say it's harmless.
We said in high school.
It should be. It should be the way it's been drugged.
Our commentary in high school back in the '60s was, you get a free meal in every glass.
Right. Oh, here's one. Here's one for Diane. There should be an ordinance against piling goods on the sidewalk and conducting an entire fruit or vegetable market there. What's wrong with that?
I don't know what the heck. You're getting fresh food. I don't
understand that either. Okay, my main criticism of Amsterdam is the lack of cultural training in the public schools. The courses stressed are shop and business instead of those affording cultural appreciation. One must be educated to earn a living, but he also must be educated for life. I agree with that entirely.
I agree with it somewhat.
But you got to understand, back in those days, basically the local mills determined what was being taught in the school.
And what's wrong with a trade?
Nothing's wrong with the trade, but there's nothing wrong with culture, being exposed to culture either. There's always so much talk about improvements which will be made. Why not get them done instead of talking about them all the time? Isn't that what I said in my State of the City speech?
Your State of the City.
That's right. Let's do it. I talk. Let's do it.
If you're going to shoot, don't talk.
That's right. Don't talk, shoot. Amsterdam should have a curfew law for children up to 16 years, and it should be enforced even if it means bringing parents into court.
Some things don't change.
They don't change at all.
Some things don't change. We had exactly that same debate last year. You never see or meet important people in Amsterdam. That's what I don't like about it.
They have to come and follow ID. They can do it every day.
This is total crap. One of the things that amazed me is the number of important people that were passing through Amsterdam and giving speeches during the 1940s. Fulton Sheen was here twice during the war. Norman Vincent Peale, Dr. Norman Vincent Peale from the Marble Collegiate Church.
How do you define important people?
We had scheduled. Eleanor Roosevelt was scheduled.
That bothers me. Who's important?
Wendell Willkie came here.
So they want celebrities here. That's what they consider to be important.
How many celebrities came on those bond drives during the war? I mean, it's incredible that he would make a statement like this, that a city this size would have as many important people coming and talking to the people here. I can't believe they would say that. Kirk Douglas went to school with them. You never meet any important people. Right.
They didn't like him. I think he's great.
And you know who used to appear in the Tamarack Players at the junior high school auditorium during the summer? Carl Malden.
Streets of San Francisco.
Watched him last night in On the Waterfront. which is, honest to God, that's one of the greatest movies ever made. There isn't a wasted scene in that picture. Everything is perfect. The acting is out of this world. He's got a couple of scenes in there that are so good, my jaw was dropping to the floor, even though I've seen the movie a dozen times. You know, when he's giving that speech in the hold and they're throwing tomatoes and then beer cans and everything at him, and he just keeps on talking. Absolutely fantastic. And then when Marlon Brando says to him, "Go to hell." What did you say? I said, "Go to hell."
Did you realize who Marlon Brando was?
I didn't know he was the Godfather. What a great picture. Anyway.
You know what? And they can't make pictures as good as that today.